Welcome to the 80th episode of the Meeple Society, a podcast about board games hosted by two longtime role players turned avid board gamers. My name is Katie.
And I'm tired of snow and cold.
Okay, Mr. Tired. Yeah. On this episode, we visit the idea of a Hall of Fame for board games and some of the games that have recently been inducted into a new Hall of Fame. We dig into 4 recently played games and rate them old, new, borrowed, or it just blew. We hear from you in regards to what's been hitting your table lately. But first, well, Greg has some sort of news about Terraforming Mars, which we all know is my favorite game. But he won't even give me a clue about it, so we're going to start there.
So Terraforming Mars has a campaign on backer kit coming soon.
Okay.
That was a puzzled look you gave me.
Well, I'm thinking, what else can they do?
Because you think you have the base game Terraforming Mars, you have all those expansions. As a matter of fact, one of the expansions has an expansion.
Oh,
that hasn't delivered yet.
Yes. A long time ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a long time ago.
And then it has Ares Expedition.
Right.
And it has the dice game.
Right.
Well, if you look on the thing on our notes here, you scroll to the right, you'll see something that says "click here." Click on that and announce what the next campaign is.
Do I want to know? Okay, Terraforming Mars, the role-playing game. Interesting.
I seen. I was like, what?
I feel like I've done this before, but in a Star Wars game. Was it Star Wars? What game was that? We were on a planet camping or something. I don't remember now.
I don't remember either.
God, it had to have been a Star Wars game.
So Terraforming Mars, the role-playing game, is coming out on backer kit in March of 2025.
The original TT RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
so I was like, is this something you're going to want to get?
No. No. Mostly because we haven't gotten to role-play in a really long time.
Right.
And when we do, it's not going to be a new system. We're going to be revisiting an old system we already know and love.
Mm-hmm. So there's a very large book with it.
Yeah, I saw that.
It comes in a box. Kind of like the old Dungeons & Dragons boxes. So I'm not sure everything is in it or exactly what it is. It says here, you are the hope of humankind. The expansion and the survival of our species depends on you. Only you and your team can make the fight work for everyone.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay. Well, intriguing, but not something I personally would be interested in.
Right.
But okay.
And now, it is time for the most anticipated segment of the podcast. It is time for Random Board Game Banter!
Okay, so Board Game Geek, they just started a Hall of Fame. They released 5 games for the last 5 days. So on day 1, they have Diplomacy. I can see that. This is a very classic game. It's from 1959 originally. A lot of people talk about, but they say if you want to play it, don't play it with friends or spouses because it'll end up in feuds and divorces.
Right.
But I've also heard people love playing this game.
I think this is one of those games, and again, we've never played it.
It's a game of backstabbing, basically.
Right, but it's one of those games you have to be that kind of gamer to play it
exactly
the way it was intended to be played. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we are that type of gamer.
Mm-hmm. So the second inductee was Acquire from 1964, and the box they show is the actual box of the game that we actually have.
Yes, we actually have that one.
We have the old 1964 box
version,
of it.
Yeah.
I really like what the 60th anniversary edition looks like.
Oh my gosh, we saw that in a store today.
The box is like 3 times the size of the box we have currently.
Yeah, we saw that in a store today, and it was very, very tempting to pay the $90 for it.
But I do agree with this one. This is another old one that deserves.
This one has had so many various, I don't even want to say iterations, but so many various reprints and copies of it made.
Yeah, and there are games with the same kind of
Big
mechanism.
Boss.
Like, Big Boss for being an example there.
Yes.
I also like. Thirdly the third one was Cosmic Encounters from 1977.
Okay.
This is one we've played a lot.
We do. We have this one.
And I think we played this on one of our 24s, didn't we?
If we didn't,
it was on a
we
game day,
want
but
to.
yeah. We'd have to go back and look.
I could find out quickly, but you go on. I'll
Okay.
I can look.
So the fourth one inducted was Civilization from 1980. This is Francis Tresham's Civilization. We have not played this. We don't play a lot of Civilization games, but we did go hunting for one today and could not find it in stores, and that was Civolution.
Yes.
And our buddy Bill has it, who's willing to teach us. So he was going to do it on the 7th, but we're busy that day. So he's going to bring it to our New Year's redo.
Yes, we're having basically a full-on game day, middle of February, because too many people were sick on New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do it on a Saturday, which is when you should be doing it, not on a Wednesday or Tuesday or whatever it was.
Yeah, because they can play all day and
Exactly.
recover on Sunday and then go back to work. So the fifth and final one on day one was 1830, the game of railroads and robber barons. This is from 1986.
Have not heard of that one, or at least not played it.
This is a redevelopment of Francis Tresham's 1829 game from 1974. So Francis Treshman has a couple games in here now. But it's a railroad game. I'd be interested in playing it just to see how it is because I love railroad games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's day one. I agree with everything. Like I said, the last two games we've not played. The first one we never played. We've played two of those.
Yes. And going back to the Cosmic Encounter, we have not yet played that on our 24.
Okay, so it was on a game day that we had everybody over when we were in the seas, I bet.
Probably.
Because I remember Connor playing.
I think this would be a really good one on the 24.
Yeah.
I think it would be a good one to do. So we may have to put that on the maybe list for this year.
So we move on to the second day of it, and Magic the Gathering shows up.
Okay.
A lot of people just don't. I don't know. At first, when we first got into this hobby, I didn't picture Magic the Gathering part of the hobby board game grouping. I just thought it was just a card game.
Well, it is
but
just a card
game.
game.
We were a little more naive about the board game industry.
Right. Well, we got into Magic. Oh my gosh.
95? It
was
just
it even
before Eric was born.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, you're right. It was right before Eric was born, about 95-ish. So early in Magic the Gathering's history.
Yeah, because I had some alphas and betas.
Yes. We probably still do,
which I probably still have some, but they're probably not in the best condition.
No, probably not. We got a whole box of stuff back there in the closet.
They were well played.
They were well loved. Mm-hmm. Yes. But yeah,
you didn't really stay with it that much.
No, by the time I had Eric,
Yeah.
early 96, I had kind of lost interest in the game as a whole.
I played it for a little bit longer and then got tired of it when all of a sudden these new cards came, like the Planeswalkers started showing up. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was before the Planeswalkers. Which I think it was Homelands or something like that was the edition that just came out when I stopped playing.
I don't know, but I know you got
But
back into it.
then when the boys got older and they liked it and we got back into it.
Yeah. Well, you guys got into it. I did.
And then we stopped again.
Yep.
So the seventh one was Catan.
I could see that.
This one's a good game. I mean, we haven't played it in a while. This is one of our oldest sons, Justin's favorite games. Mm-hmm. He loves to play it, but nobody will play with him anymore. Because he always beats everybody.
Yes.
Number 8 is El Grande.
Not played that one.
We have not. This one is the one that Tom Vassell talks about this one a lot. But I can't remember. This is the one that has the dice tower, has a dice tower in it too. Or a cube tower, I think it is.
Okay.
I believe. Don't quote me on that. But it's an area control game. It's probably one of the reasons why we have not played it.
Probably.
Number 9 is another one we haven't played. Is Tigris and Euphrates from 1997. Adil, our buddy Adil, loves this game.
He does.
It's one of his favorite games of all time. But it's a very confrontational game, and one reason why we have not played it. Number 10 is Raw. We have played this one. We do not like this one. A lot of people, this is one of their top games of all time, but
I don't see the attraction to this. But
yeah,
that's
it's just a simple bidding game. And I think because of it's a bidding game, we're not big on the humongous on the bidding games. But when we were taught it, the people who taught us just showed us the basic game rules, but nothing really strategic. And it was one of their favorite games of all time, and they've played it a bunch of times.
Like
and it was
a
our
couple
first
hundred
time,
times, yeah.
And they took advantage of that, so we had a miserable game.
Well, and I think this kind of brings in two facets. One, there's a game out there for everybody.
Yes.
And your game is not going to be liked by everybody.
Right.
So, hence why we all have opinions.
Yep.
That's why they're opinions. But two, that first play of a game can say everything.
Yeah.
If you have a miserable first play because of the people you played it with, and don't get me wrong, the couple we played it with are lovely people. I would easily sit down and play another game with them. Not this one.
Not raw, no.
But I would love to sit down and play another game with them. They were newlyweds at the time or were engaged and are now newlyweds. I don't remember, but I know they got married right around that time frame. But lovely young couple. I just don't want to play raw with them again.
All right.
But because of that experience, I have no desire to ever try it again.
Right.
So, and I don't know if it was just because I don't like the game or I didn't like that play.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what was it, last week when we went up to the BGI game day up at Saltier Games,
Yes.
and we pulled out camping
Yes.
with two people that never played it.
Yeah.
And I know that game so well, and I
You
can
held
usually
back. Yeah.
beat the crap out of people in this game.
Okay, you've only ever beaten me
But-
in this game.
Well, okay, so I beat you a lot.
Yes.
Out of the 5 times we had played it, I'd beat you 3.
Yeah.
And the other 2 was really close.
They were very,
But
very close.
yeah, I
Well,
came
beat
in
you
last.
one.
I came in last on that
You
game,
did.
but I was kind of holding back because I wanted them to enjoy this game
Right.
because it's a really
And
good
I
game.
think they both enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So
it was.
hope they
I think it was
did.
a little bit longer than they expected.
I think it.
because I think it was a 2 or 3 hour game.
We'll come back to camping because that's off the topic here. But yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that was Raw. And that was the end of day 2. So day 3's nominees or inductees brought us number 11, which is Carcassonne. This is a game we love. We love
completely
Carcassonne.
understand that.
This is actually one of our first Gen Cons we went. We won a pandemic tournament from Z-Man. So we had a, what was it, $75?
$100.
$100 to spend
$100
at the
to spend.
Z-Man booth. And this is one of the games I picked up and looked at. I was like going, I just did not like the artwork on the front cover. I was like,
Right.
what is this game all about?
Yeah.
This just looks weird. And at the time, I didn't know anything about
Nope.
Carcassonne.
That was our first year of ever really shopping.
We were
Gen
just
Con
starting
for
to
board
dive
games.
into the board game hobby.
Like less than a year into the hobby. Yeah.
And, so I was like, this just doesn't look interesting. And I was like, ooh, Nirishima Hex looks really cool and picked it
We
up.
ended up
And now
getting
we was
that
like
instead.
going, ugh.
Yeah.
But now we have a lot of Carcassonne stuff because we love Carcassonne.
We've got one of the big boxes, yeah,
Yes.
with
But we have
stuffed
all
full
the little,
of expansions.
The little standalone ones, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's deserving. Number 12 is Power Grid. We just played this not too long ago
We
because we just
did.
went through the P's.
Yeah.
And I still like it.
It'd been 9 years since we'd last played it.
Yeah,
8
no, we
years.
have the Power Grid Deluxe.
We do.
The resources is pretty much the only thing
The only
different
difference,
in the two.
Some
so-
artwork differences,
yeah.
but that's it.
But I still really like Power Grid.
Yes.
Then we have Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride's a good one.
I
And
think
it
Ticket to Ride,
absolutely
at least
deserves it.
one version of Ticket to Ride is always in like our top 100 at least.
Yes. Yeah. Matter of fact, we're going through our top 100 now, and I keep coming across 3 different ones. I'm like, they're basically the same game. A little changes here and there, but basically the same game.
Was one of these in one of our pickup and... No, this is not a pickup and delivery game. This is a route building game.
This is a route building. Ooh, maybe we need to do a top 10 of that.
Top 10 route building games? Do we have top 10
don't
route
know.
building games?
I don't know if we do.
It's bad when you don't remember what's in your collection.
Well, I do. Okay, we remember what's in the collection. It's just having to stop and think about the mechanics around the collection.
Right.
That's where I have to stop and really think. Anyway, moving on.
So moving on from... Oh, I lost my place. There it is. Next is Kalis at 14. We have played Kalis a bunch of times too.
Yes, we do not have the original version. We have the second edition.
Right.
With
And
better
this
artwork.
was like... Is supposedly the grandfather of the worker placement games.
Yes. I enjoy this one. It's not my favorite anymore.
It
and
does
it's-
have
it's-
some take back that to it.
It does have
It can
a
be
little
a mean
bit.
game if you want it to be.
It could be. Yes.
Or you could be nice and just say, okay, you went there, so I have to go someplace else and figure out how to do it later.
Yeah.
But it can be mean because we really don't work the what is it?
The provost?
Provost.
don't
and
know. Provost.
The sheriff.
I don't
I think
remember.
if you really worked those, you could really screw the other
Oh,
player.
easily. Yes, easily.
Okay, so number 15 is Twilight Struggle from 2005. This is one I am really, really interested in playing. This is a 2-player game, and it's a GMT game, and you have no interest in playing this.
Nope.
This is all about the Cold War between the United States and Russia.
You need to get your son.
I have to buy the game first.
Take him to a game store that has it. Or here's an idea. We'll get him and Jackie to finally go to the retreat with us, and you guys can play it there.
Oh, so me and him can play, and you and Jackie go off play
we'll
with
go find
something
else. Absolutely. I will get her to play, what is the name of that game? Boop. I will get her to play Boop with me, although I don't think she would enjoy Boop.
No.
But
if it was dog themed, maybe, but it's cat themed. There's only one cat that she likes.
She likes Goose.
She likes our cat, the Goose. So that ended day, what was I on, day 4?
Day 3.
Day 3. So day 4 brings us number 16, Through the Ages, A Story of Civilization. This is sitting on our shelf unplayed so far.
It is.
It's coming up. It's the tease. We are in the R's.
That's why we have not tried to get it played, because we know it's coming.
This could be a long game.
Yeah.
So I've always been interested in playing this game, especially when we got into the more heavier games that we liked.
Yeah.
I was like, this is one I want to get out there because I hear so much about it. They do say the app is better. It is a lot of fun to play.
That's what I hear, yeah.
But I want to actually play the physical copy of it, and we have it. Agricola is at 17. You like Agricola.
I do like Agricola.
I do not like Agricola.
I like Caverna just a little bit better. To me, Caverna is a little more streamlined.
I do like Caverna. I think my problem with Agricola is the cards. I can't get them to sync up, and can't figure out how can I spend a turn and get those out and then still be able to feed my people, because I hate taking beggar tokens.
Yeah.
Because that's minus points at the end of the game, and I'm struggling to get points in that game to begin with. So
yes. No, I know this is not one of your favorites. It is no longer in our collection. We do still have it in the travel collection, but we do not have it in ours anymore. So, yeah.
Number 18 is Brass, the original Brass.
I was going to say, we have Brass Birmingham.
We have Brass Birmingham, and then we had, what was that one called? Age of Iron,
yes,
which is like the precursor to Brass and Brass Birmingham and Brass Lancaster,
similar,
because it is a board that has both maps on, one on each side, and you can play whichever way you want to play it. So it was kind of a precursor for Brass, I believe.
Okay.
Number 19 is Race for the Galaxy. This one is always in our top 100.
I love this one.
And it's usually pretty close to the top of my top 100 a lot, because I really like this game.
I don't know. I just finished mine today. I haven't looked yet.
So that's coming soon.
Yeah.
Number 20 is Dominion. We've only played this a couple times.
I think we played it 3 or 4 times.
We played Trains before we ever played Dominion,
we
and
did.
really, really liked Trains. And then when we played Dominion, we're like, oh, this is like Trains.
Only without the board.
Actually, yes, without the board. This is actually Trains is like Dominion, because it's where it came from. And this is supposed to be the granddad of deck builders, which I think there was actually one out before then.
And maybe, and I could see why this would definitely be considered that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we ever got into it. Maybe if we'd played this before Trains, we would have gotten into it more. We didn't, because we already had that experience with Trains. Mm-hmm. And I like Trains.
So this one actually came out after Magic. And it actually says in the thing that Magic the Gathering launched the trading card genre with players building their personal decks for each game. And then Donald X... I can't believe Vicarianos. I don't know. Anyway, the designer, Dominion transformed deck building into a game of its own.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That is kind of neat. Yeah, I mean,
and I know a lot of people like Dominion. They love Dominion. It's been around. It's the second edition already out. So
yes, well, it's been around since 2008.
Yes,
and it's got dozens of expansions, and I'm not talking little expansions. I'm talking big box expansions.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's hundreds of different types of cards out there now.
So the final day, day 5, brings in Pandemic from 2008. This is the game that got us into the world of hobby board games.
It is.
We have played every single
Pandemic out there.
Yeah, every pandemic world, the world of Pandemic. Using its
every iteration of Pandemic.
Yes. So like Fall of Rome and the Star Wars one and the World of Warcraft one,
the dice one,
and so
we've even played Contagion.
Yes.
Which is in that world.
Still pandemic.
It
Yep.
is.
Then we have Seven Wonders
Okay.
from
I could see that.
2010. Yeah, it's a good game. It's deserving. I mean, it's one of the evergreens. 23. I can see why this game is in there. This is
23
Castles of Burgundy.
I love this game.
I know you love this game. It's not my top, one of my favorite Stefan Feld games.
That being said,
I will play it if it is pulled off the shelf. I will play it.
I'll have to remember that. So we do still have the original box.
The original box,
When they came out with the upgraded version, I didn't like
the anniversary
edition.
edition.
Like the colorful scheme. No, there was the original box, there was that new edition, and then there was the collector's edition, and now I think isn't there like 4 editions now?
No, I think there's only 3. There's the edition. There's the edition we have.
Okay.
Then they came out with the 10th anniversary edition.
Is that the one
that's the one with the
colorful?
god awful board? That's
okay.
like
that
it
is
looks like it's just a big
distracting.
paisley picture.
That board is way too distracting for me.
And then they have the one
beige.
I think is it Awakened Realms that did the new one?
Yeah,
the big
I think
deluxe
so.
collector's edition.
I think so, yeah.
That's too much for you?
No, the collector's edition's fine.
Okay.
The other one's too much for me.
Okay.
I would
Who knows?
love
one
to
day it
at some
might
point
end up in
play
our
it.
collection.
I would just be happy to play it at some point.
I know somebody who has it.
I do too.
Same guy that has Civolution.
I know. Maybe I can get him to bring it over on the New Year's redo.
I'm sure he would do that for you.
I'm sure he would.
Okay, so that was 23, Castles of Burgundy. Number 24 is Terra Mystica. This is another game that we've had, and this was like one of my top games for a long time. I really liked Terra Mystica, and including our son's fiance Journey.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is
really
one of her
liked this
favorites,
game.
yeah.
And which was it's a very
It's a very heavy game.
heavy game, yeah. I mean, it's not extremely heavy though, but what you have to do things, it's really
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do it, and there's other innovations with Gaia Project and Age of Innovation is of the same
Design, basically, yeah.
So, and then the final one that was added to it was Concordia from 2013. I like this one.
I do too. We haven't played it in a while.
It's a
since we
cool.
did the Siege.
This has a deck building mechanism in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it has expansions to it now that adds more boards and new resources and cards and stuff. So I wouldn't mind trying some of those either, though.
No, yeah.
And we still
I
have
agree.
this. We have one of the original cover copies of it. So.
Yes, we do.
But that is Board Game Geek's new top 20, the first 25 inductees into their Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking Dice Tower had one as well. I'm not going to go through all of Dice Towers here.
No, they've put quite a few.
I'm just
going to
give you an idea of how the difference between Dice Tower and Board Game Geek. Board Game Geek is 100% hobby games.
Yeah, it really has been so far.
Yeah, so Dice Tower has kind of gone through all games. If they made an influence to other games, they are in here.
Yes.
Because I see Pit.
And we just finally got a chance to play that one not
that
long
was
ago.
blessed.
And it was
and I
so
think
much
we had a lot of
fun.
fun because who we were playing with.
Well,
it.
yes, and that leads right back to that whole enjoyment of a game.
Yes.
It's more than
it's all
just
who
the
you play
game.
with.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they have Pit, Sorry, Battleship, Monopoly, Stratego, Scrabble. You're kind of getting a hint here. Clue, Candyland, Careers, Yahtzee. Diplomacy is the first game on this list so far that we've not played.
Yeah.
And then Risk. We just got done playing a lot of Risk. Life. The Game of Life. When we played the Game of Life for the playing through our collection was the first time I'd ever actually played the actual Game of Life, and the first time I actually played Mousetrap.
Mm-hmm. Yes, agreed. I had played Life many, many times, but I'd never played Mousetrap before.
Yeah, they have Acquire on here.
Yeah.
Boggle, Uno, Operation. So yeah, so they got
there's
there's
Cosmic
Cosmic Encounters, the original cover of Cosmic
So they've
Encounters.
got the same ones, well, at least so
some
far,
of-
but
Herring
they've
Tortoise.
included more of your foundational
They've
games.
included games. Period. They
Yes.
aren't just subject just to
games
the
that have
hobby games.
stood the test of time,
Yeah.
whether it be for your average family, for children, or for hobby gamers.
Yeah, Ogre has always intrigued me. It's a war game though, so I don't think I'll ever end up playing it. So, but they have the original Dune.
You
and
could, just not with me.
Guess Who, Civilization, Can't Stop. That's a blast. Axis and Allies, Empire Builder. Now we have Empire Express. That is basically half the board of Empire Builder. Empire Builder is the entire United States.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes. We know somebody has some people who has the Sherlock Holmes stuff.
Yep. Yeah, you jump to their last page, and there's a lot more of the stuff that's already in there because they're obviously Castles
like
of
Agricola,
Burgundy and
Galaxy Trucker,
Agricola,
Race for the
yeah.
Galaxy. Yeah, it's more of the
Seven Wonders.
the hobby games. There's Dominant Species.
Right.
That's another one I wouldn't mind playing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know
I
if
didn't
you
realize
are.
they have Battlestar Galactica on their thing. That one, I mean,
Battlestar.
it's a Grail game.
Yeah. The good Battlestar Galactica, not that 1970s version
Oh,
that
my
you have
goodness.
that's barely a game.
That is, I will agree there. It's barely a game.
Okay. So that is the Hall of Fame from both Board Game Geek. We did not go over all the dice tires
No.
because they have like 7 or 8 pages of like 10 games each, so we didn't want to go
More
through
than
all
10.
of it. So my question
You get the
would be,
idea.
what game do you think Board Game Geek should add to their Hall of Fame next year? You got any ideas? Anything that we've played so far that you think should
Oh
be
my
in there?
gosh, I don't know. Way to put me
I
on
can
the
see
spot.
if Agricola's there, I can see Caverna getting in there.
Yeah, but Agricola did it first.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
true.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Right. As I go, we've got a lot of games. We've got a lot of old games that I would love to see. Like maybe
Well, and if they're only focusing on
Orleans.
hobby games, Orleans is a good one.
Yeah. Well, that's where our mind goes. Hobby games. Right
Well,
off
I
the
know,
bat,
but my brain immediately went to games I liked as a kid, like Pente.
maybe we can lobby and get London Cabbie into the Hall of Fame. There you go. Everybody, email Board Game Geek or post on a thread in Board Game Geek and get London Cabbie in there. Look at our top 100 and you'll see what this game is if you don't know it. Or go to Board Game Geek and look it up.
Oh my gosh,
It's a crazy game. It's an old game, but it's still a lot of fun.
I love that game. Okay.
So let's move on. Video releases. So we only got one video out.
Yes,
That would be episode 74
correct. Because I am still
of
editing
Playing Through Our Collection.
Reef Project. I'm about halfway done.
So Reef Project, the playthrough and rules breakdown is coming soon. As soon as she gets it done, she's only had it for like 12 weeks now. But
I have not. We only recorded it like last week or week before last?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. Okay. Anyway, regardless, I'm working on it.
Okay. She's been getting squirrelitis lately.
I've had other videos to get. I had to get last week's podcast out. I had to get 74 out.
Okay. When she means the last week's podcast, she's the one who edits anything that I missed for one on the podcast.
And puts it on video.
And puts it on YouTube and adds pictures and stuff. So if you want to see the actual picture of the game and would rather listen to it that way, wait till it usually comes out about a week after the original one drops.
I try for sooner, but it never works.
Yep. So check us out on YouTube and you can listen to our podcast that way too. So moving on to new to the collection. Do you want to say what you got today? This actually
Yes.
came in today.
10 o'clock this morning when I was working some overtime here at home. The doorbell rang and FedEx dropped off Trailblazer, the Arizona Trail. We backed this one on Kickstarter early last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed the John Muir Trail.
Yes.
I didn't know if I needed a second one, but Mom just recently moved to Arizona, so it intrigued me and it looked really good.
Yeah.
So I backed it. And it came in today.
The neoprene mat board for this thing that
Looks-
it was an add-on. It looked
Yes.
really crazy, but it looks. I
it
think
looks a little busy.
It is busy, but it favors to play on one side of it.
Yes. Well,
Because
most
there's
boards
little
do.
bitty squares down in that one corner that if you're on the other side, you're not going to be able to see much of what's
We'll
going
find
on there.
out.
So
Yeah, I don't know because I don't know. I'm looking forward
it
to
looks
breaking
good
it out.
though.
It
And
looks
if
really
it's
good.
if it's half as good as
John Muir.
John Muir, it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Something old, something new, something borrowed, and something that blew. These are 4 games that we've gotten to the table recently.
Not the only 4, thank goodness.
Not the only 4. So,
yeah.
we're going to start off with something fairly old. Well, how old is this game? This is from, originally brought out in 1969.
We do not have a 1969 version.
No,
we have something that was published
have a
in the
newer
80s, I
version.
think.
This
Yeah.
is called Rivers, Roads, and Rails. It's race to build a complex and interconnected transportation network. This game This was played because it's in our travel collection, and it was an R, so it was
R.
time to play it. And we played it, and it's actually a little interesting because
it's very Carcassonne-y.
Yes, it
But at the
definitely
same
has a
time,
Carcassonne feel to it.
You gotta have a big play area. I'm talking a big play area.
Yes, and this came out before Carcassonne.
Yes,
so.
way before Carcassonne.
But this is you're laying tiles out each turn, and you got tiles in front of you. You got a lot of tiles in front of you, actually. But if you can't lay something, you draw a tile.
Correct.
That's face down.
Yeah.
But if you can, you lay a tile and move on. But each tile could have like a railroad, a highway, or part of a river,
Right.
or two of those, or all three of those.
Right.
And you
And they
have to
bend in
connect
different
them.
ways, and they connect in different ways.
Yeah, and you have to connect them.
Yep, you have to connect.
So you
cannot
can't
just
like put
connect
one
it
on
in
that's
nothing.
just a railroad, but there's a highway on that tile that you're connecting to too. You can't just stop the highway in the middle of nowhere.
The problem is that you end up with just two ends
Yes.
that have been snaked through the whole table. You might get lucky and have a third, but there were times that we only had one end going.
Yeah.
Because neither of us had what was needed to continue the other end.
Yeah, and the winner, if I'm not
It
mistaken,
was
is the person who runs out of their tiles.
Yes, and you start off with a good chunk of tiles.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many, but like 15 or 20 tiles.
Yeah, I know you start off with a bunch.
You start off with quite a few.
But yeah, it was a lot more interesting. I had fun playing this.
Oh, I did
I had
too.
some frustrating times because I was like, oh, I don't even have this
Yes.
tile. Oh, you just closed off where I could put a tile
Uh-huh.
and continue on that. You just shut that part of the highway off.
We had to shift the whole table a couple of times.
Yeah, we kept pulling the mat or something, didn't we?
No, we just had to like slowly shift everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because the mat is
Because it
taped
kept
down.
growing in the wrong direction. So
Yeah.
this will grow in any direction it
Oh
wants
my
to grow.
gosh,
So
I can't believe we need to. Yeah, it needs a big.
the
play
artwork
area.
on this isn't the best. It is very, very cartoony.
It is very cartoony. It is very basic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's designed for kids, so
Yep.
it's kid style artwork.
Yeah, because it's ages 5 and up.
Yes.
It has a 1.15
Complexity.
weight
Yeah,
is on it.
I believe it.
So
It's not hard.
it's for 2 to 10 players.
Wow. Can you imagine 10 players playing this?
Yeah, it has a 5.2 rating.
There you go. We'll play this on the 24 on the dining room table.
Yeah, okay.
I'm getting a look.
Right?
Or we'll play it right here on this table, the table we're recording on. It's huge.
It's not huge. It's what?
I don't
About
know.
6x4?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Good size.
So you want to go with another one? You want to?
Sure. We also recently got to play a new game out by Fireside Games called Unmatched. We played this one at a local BGI event, and when you go to these BGI events, basically your name gets entered into a hat. I actually won a copy of it. I won the copy we played, actually, which is cool because then I don't have to put a sticker on it in our game room saying we need to play our copy because we played this copy. We just didn't own it at the time.
Right.
So, anyway, Unmatched
Oh, I forgot
is...
you'd won the copy.
Yes, it's in the game room already. So Unmatched is a cooperative card game where you have kind of a pyramid of cards laid out, starting with fewer cards on the bottom, turned over, and then pyramiding up to more cards on top, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Seven Wonders duel
Yeah,
layout.
kind of pyramid.
But all the cards are face down except for the first row.
Right. And then as you unlock cards by solving something that's out there, then more cards become available to play off of. So the idea is everybody starts with a certain number of cards in their hand, and you have to match. In order to remove a card from the board, you have to match something that's in your hand. And there is a series of cards that are laid out for everybody to look at as well, that are put out at the beginning of the game, equal to the number of players, basically. Everybody looks at their hand and chooses one card to put out for everybody to have access to. And the idea is you have to match something from either that row of cards or from your hand with something that's in the pyramid, that's visible in the pyramid. So, for example, if there is a red 2 out, I could play a blue 2 and match it, or I could play a red 8 and match it.
Because the colors are matching.
Right. A card of the same color or of the same number would match it, and then both those cards just go away. But I don't get to redraw. The only way to redraw is to make what is called an ulti-match.
Yeah.
An ulti-match would be now referring to your color wheel. So if it is a purple 8 that's out there, I could play a red 3 and a blue 5 and match to that purple 8. That would be considered an ulti-match. I get to remove my red 3, my blue 5, and that purple 8, and I get to draw 2 cards, putting one into my hand and putting one into the central display for everybody to have access to. Mm-hmm. So it kind of refreshes everybody's access to information.
Yeah.
The idea is you have to get rid of the pyramid before every single person has to pass.
Yeah, and you can't, like I said, can't talk.
No,
well,
you can't.
You could say, "Hey, I have a card for you, or I have a trade
yes,
for you."
I can make a trade that will help you, blah blah blah. But you can't say, "Hey, I have a red 2 I could give you."
Right. You can only say, "I have a trade."
I have a trade.
Because at one point in the game, I said, "Hey, I got a trade for an ulti match," and then he's like, "You can't say that." I was like, "Oh, because I said ulti match." Oh, crud.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty interesting. I really actually enjoyed this one. We played it 5-player.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to try it again at different player counts and that, and play it again outside of the learning game.
Right.
But I really liked it. We did win. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. But that's a new one to us.
Yep, that's a new one. Let's do Marvel United. We could say it was borrowed.
Technically.
We didn't really borrow it because we played it at the house of the people who own it.
Yes, we played it at Quapple and Nerds.
We played it at Quapple and Nerds. This is, I'm sure everybody knows Marvel United by now. He has so much Marvel United that he could stack it on the floor and it could be a support beam for his ceiling.
Yes.
If he wanted to, because he has pretty much everything. And he'd never played it.
Yeah.
Until we came over. And we played the base game. The original base game.
Was that the first time they had played it? I thought they played it at least once.
He said I believe he said he has not played it yet.
Okay. Wow.
Because every time we got over, everything was still in shrink.
That's true. I don't know.
I think his thing was he read the rules to it.
Maybe.
But this is all about the Marvel heroes. They're all the little chibi people that are running around, and you're fighting in different areas, and you need certain things to complete a quest to take out. We played against the Red Skull.
Yes. Yeah, we played the base box.
But
basically.
but you're moving cards, and it's making a storyline. You're laying cards down in a line. So you're able to take the action on the card you're doing and the card in front that was laid
the previous card, yeah.
Yeah, so if the previous card said, I can move and attack, and then you lay a card that has like 2 attacks on it, you can move once and attack 3 times, or if you're in the area where one of the monsters is at, or the villains is at, you can attack 3 times and then move, yeah.
Or attack and then move and then attack again, however you wanted to do it.
And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, each area had something that went on in it too.
Yes. If you were there, some stuff happened at the end of a turn. Some stuff only happened when the bad guy did something.
Right.
Or when the bad guy was there. So there were different effects based on the card that was laying there at the time.
Then some of them had the BAMs where there was actually villains at.
Yeah.
And when the BAM was rolled, all the BAMs went off for that character. So
yeah.
It was fun.
I liked it. We did not win.
Yeah, I am kind of glad,
twice.
though, we have not gone down that rabbit hole.
Oh, my gosh. It is a rabbit hole. And that's why we didn't.
And I feel if we want to play it again, I'm sure he'll be willing to play it again or loan it to us or what have you.
Number of expansions.
Right.
Yes.
So.
I mean, I think it's an interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's one. I like the fact it's cooperative. It's not head-to-head, which is one of my fears is it was head-to-head, but it's not.
No.
I don't know why I didn't realize it was cooperative. But, yeah, I think it's a good one, though. But, again, it's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
Yeah, because there's a lot there.
Just mainly, not even so much the amount of stuff, but the amount of space that stuff takes up.
Yeah, and now they're coming out with DC United now.
Yeah, see, no. Nope. That rabbit hole just got bigger. I'm done.
Okay,
I don't
so
want it.
that was something borrowed, and the game is fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I enjoyed the game, even if we lost. But I mean, that is the earmark of a good cooperative game. You shouldn't just be able to win it right away and win it easily.
Okay, so this next game, when we pulled it out the other day for the first time, we thought for sure our first thought it blew. We were getting rid of this game only after the second play of this game. We just hated it.
We were having some serious trouble.
Then
with it,
we watched a video from the designer, and I was like, "Wait,
we're
doing a lot of things wrong,
yes.
or we didn't know about that part because the rule book isn't the best." And the one video we watched, we didn't learn a lot from.
No.
Not the one with the designer, but we watched a different one.
Yeah, a rules breakdown that was not apparently very clear, or we missed some stuff. I'm not sure which.
Right. But we decided, okay.
You want to say what the game is?
Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't yet, have I?
You have not
This
yet,
is
no.
Weirdwood Manor.
Yeah.
And I have seen some posts recently of people just not liking it or say this is way too hard of a
hard.
game. It is a hard game, but if you know how to manage certain things, and we've only played against the Chaos Ogre, which, by the way, looks like a werewolf.
It does.
It does not look like an ogre.
No. It looks like a werewolf. And we bought this specifically for our cooperative Sundays. That's the whole reason we bought it, is because we have a couple of friends who they prefer cooperatives. And bless their hearts, we've known these guys for 26 years, something like, way longer than most of our friends. But anyway, they don't play competitive games.
No.
And we played a competitive game with them because we wanted to get in a game of Role Player, and we've been playing Role Player Adventures, so we wanted to this is the predecessor to Role Player Adventures, so we played this. And now I know why they don't play. Well, you know what I mean, though.
Yes.
This is where it came off of. So now, okay, yeah. I kind of understand why they do not play competitive games with each other.
Yes, because
Doug kept taking all of Sarah's moves, and she was starting to get a little angry with him.
Right.
Which I would have done the same thing. I do the same thing when you do it to me. So,
yes, well, because we
are
are extremely competitive with each other.
Well, you are extreme. Never mind.
You hate it when I beat you, and I hate it when you beat me.
But I don't get mad. Anyway.
Don't let her lie, people.
Whatever. Anyway, back to Weirdwood Manor. We bought this specifically for our cooperative Sundays. And this is one, if you've not seen it, it's set up in 3 rings. You have your center court, your center throne room. You have a series of tiles directly around it. Then you have this spinning dial. And then you have a spinning ring. Then you have another series of tiles, which are rooms. And then another spinning ring, and then the last series of tiles.
Yes.
And these rings dictate, one, they close doors. They have the door markings on them.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part, because you're like, I'm set up, I'm going to play this card on this day.
And then the ring turns, and the door is locked.
I can't move.
Yep, the doors are closed, and you can't get in there. So it has the door markings on them, so some of the rooms are locked up and some aren't, and that changes depending on what's happening in the game. But it also dictates your day and your time of day. So you have 12 days to win the game. The dial moves whenever you play a card, whenever one of your compatriots plays a card, or when the monster goes. And the monster goes after every single person's turn. So it's not one of those like Zombie Side where the monster goes at the end. It's like Pandemic. You go, monster goes. You go, monster goes. You know what I mean.
A player goes. Player 1 goes, monster. Player 2 goes, monster. Player 3, monster.
Exactly.
And so on.
So that dial is moving very quick. You may only get one action in a day. Right. Because there's a series of cards you lay out on your board, and you can add more slots to add more cards. But you have one card per time of day. And if you've already laid a card in the dawn spot, and dawn is what's up next, you have to fast forward to midday, because that may be the only spot you have left open. Or, God forbid, your only spot left open is middle of the night. You now have to forward through the entire day, and everybody loses their actions on that day, quote unquote, because the only card slot you have open is late night.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful about where you lay your cards and how you're progressing through that.
Right.
There's a lot of moving parts in this one.
And not only, it would be simple just lay it on the part of the day that's coming up. But you're trying to
But
synergize
if
those
that
cards
room
too.
doesn't open up right,
Yeah, you got to make sure the room opens up, but you're also trying to synergize your
Yes.
cards because in the top corner it has a half circle of something like a shield
Some
or
sort
a
of a bonus,
sword
yeah.
or a resource that you need. And if you get the same ones together, you get that. So like when you're attacking, if it's you have two swords together, so it makes that circle, you have an extra sword
right.
when you're fighting the ogre or whatever fey
So if
monster you're fighting.
If you plan on fighting in the next couple of rounds, it behooves you to do that.
Yeah. So when you're looking at your hand, you're trying to like, okay,
You're trying to synergize
I don't
stuff.
need this card really, but it'll help me do this, but I can put it right beside this card. Now I have a shield.
Yeah.
So when I go to battle, I'll have an extra shield just
Right.
to protect myself.
So yeah, it's I have to admit that our second play, the first play we did recently, I was ready to give up on this game and get rid of it.
Yes,
I was
so was I.
kind of done with it. We very smartly decided, let's set this aside. Let's
Go watch a video.
go watch a video and we'll tackle it again tomorrow night and see what we missed. And we discovered we were missing some of the card play
Yes.
and how they synergized and what some of the symbols meant. So we went back to it and we actually won, I want to say in day 9 or 10. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
something like that.
But we did win. That being said, the Chaos Ogre is the easiest of the 3 monsters in the box.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens on the harder ones.
Yeah,
but
I have seen on some of the other ones, you definitely want to go to the room where if you spend the resources, you can turn back a day.
okay, that makes
I
sense.
said you really want to look at doing that.
Okay, good to know.
Because,
So-
yeah, there is one room if you go,
You can actually
you can
back
turn
up
the day
time.
back so that you're
Yeah.
gaining an extra day.
That's helpful. I don't know. I'm curious to try this with Doug and Sarah and see what they think of it.
Yeah. Because, I enjoyed that, our third
Our
play.
third play
Here
of
I'm
it,
doing
yeah.
air quotes like they can see me doing air quotes. But
Here, let me take a picture so the video can
because
see
I
it.
remember the first time we played, I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I mean, I think we still got beat by it. And it was still kind of frustrating, but I really liked what it was doing. That second time, it'd been a while since we'd played it and forgot how to do everything. What are you doing?
Do your air quotes
how is it?
like that. For the video, I gotta show air
now,
quotes.
Now you'll have to see it on YouTube because she just took a picture of me holding my air quotes up. Anyway, but the second time we played it, it'd been a while since we played it, and we kind of watched a quick video of it, and it's like, okay, I think we know enough of we can get going. Well, apparently we didn't because we were doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
We were adding the, what are those things called? The bug things.
Scarabs.
Scarabs. Yeah, we kept adding scarabs to the throne room. You don't add
There's a
scarabs to the
maximum
throne
of 6
room.
in the throne room.
Yeah.
And once you eliminate them, there are no
Yeah.
more to repopulate.
Yeah, well,
They're
the
gone.
only, yeah.
Mind you, we never managed to eliminate them in the first round.
Right.
But anyway.
So the third time we played, I really liked it. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I want to play. I looked at the other 2 Fey monsters that comes in the box, and I'm like, oh, good Lord.
So you're saying we got to tackle the Chaos Monster a few more times before we try that? Now,
Yeah,
those
you
two?
might. I mean, we don't want to scare Doug and Sarah away from this.
True.
Okay, so that was Weirdwood Manor, and that was 4 of the games we've been playing lately. So what has everybody else been playing? Well, I'll start with one.
Okay.
Michael McDade. This is a friend of ours from the retreat. He has been playing, he's played 3 games lately, and all of them 3 times each. He has played Pixies, which we have not played. I am interested in this. Is a little bitty card game.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of this
It
one.
comes in a very small box.
Oh.
It's
All
a
right.
new one from 2024, and I'm curious about it. The other one was Fromage, which we have played. I
We
really
have
like
gotten to
Fromage.
play that one.
And Middle Ages. I love the Middle Ages.
I do too.
This is one we actually accidentally came upon
Yes.
by watching a video before we left for Gen Con. And it was the first game we bought, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we bought it before the hall opened. We bought it in one
Yeah.
of the outer rooms.
Yep. Then David Robinson, our good buddy from Down Under, he has been playing Unconscious Mind. This is another one I'm really interested in playing.
Yes, I'm interested in checking this one out.
Co-op
Unfortunately,
Nerds
David
has it.
lives a little far away for us to entice him to bring it over
Yeah.
and to play it with us.
David,
but
come to the Americas and we'll play.
There you go.
Wait. We'll go to you because right now it's cold here and snow on the ground. We will come to you where it's summertime.
Right? Yeah, last week it was -6.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No.
But also, Quaplo Nerds has Unconscious Mind
Okay.
too, so
All right.
it's a little bit closer.
Yeah.
It's only 20 minutes away than
it was
20 hours away.
something like that. It was -6 Fahrenheit. That's a big difference Celsius.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, -6 Celsius would be really bad, I think.
What is -6
I don't
Celsius?
know, because Celsius to Fahrenheit is double and add something. I don't remember
Well,
the
0
exact...
Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
I don't know. I was watching a movie the other day, and she kept doubling the Celsius and then adding a number to get to the proper number.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what the equation
Anybody
is.
out there know what the
I'm sure I could look it
conversion
up,
would
but I
be?
don't want to,
-6 Fahrenheit to Celsius is?
Well, let's find out. That I
Okay,
can
Katie's
look
going to
up.
look it up.
I'm going to look it up. You move
I'm
on.
going to continue on talking about games that everybody's
for
played.
it.
So, Bill Stivers, our good buddy Bill, he has played Ethnos. This is another game I wouldn't mind playing. It's an older game, and there's a new version out that's a lot more colorful. He has it. So I wouldn't mind playing this. What?
-6 Celsius is about what the temperature is outside right now. It's 21 degrees. I can take 21 degrees.
Well, yeah, 0 Celsius is 32
Well, that
degrees
makes sense,
Fahrenheit.
yeah.
So
So -6
Fahrenheit to
Fahrenheit
Celsius
is
is
-21.
There you go, David. Do you want some -21 Celsius temperatures? I don't think so.
No, probably not.
Okay, so like I said, Bill's been playing Ethnos. Like I said, this is another game that I'm curious about. I've heard a lot of talk about. They have a new copy of it out, a new printing of it.
He's also
So-
been playing Civolution,
Yes.
which
We went to go look for and can't find
could
it
not
yet.
find.
We were
Yes.
sad.
We were sad. I was actually going to let him buy an expensive game, even despite the budgetary issues right now with vet bills and furnace bills and
Yeah. And even those,
but-
after looking at Hitherto and not having it there, SETI was there. And I was like, oh, SETI's pretty interesting too. And she goes, well, we can get SETI instead of Civolution if you want. I was like, no, I want Civolution. So, guys, I passed up SETI to go and find Civolution, and I
still never found it.
still never found it. And the other game store we went to didn't even have SETI. So
Nope.
I lost out. But
well.
anyway, moving on. Jesus Barraza, this is a very old friend of ours.
Okay, you make it sound like he is really old. He is a week younger than I am.
Okay,
We've known him
when
for
I
a
say a very
long
old
time.
friend of us, meaning we've known him for a very long time.
We have known Zeus for
about as long as we've
about
known.
25 years.
Yeah, when we finally realized he was a real person.
Yeah, okay,
Because
so
he was a
maybe-
friend of Sarah's.
Yes, he was a friend of Doug and
And we
Sarah's,
always
and-
thought he was a myth because nobody had ever met him in that group.
Yep. And then we finally
And
did
then finally
meet
we
him.
got to meet him.
He is 6 days younger than I am. So no, he's 6 days older than I am.
Yeah, because it's
Scott was 7 days younger than me.
yeah, because it's Zeus, then
Than
you,
me,
then
then
Scott,
Scott,
all
yeah.
right there together
All of a couple of Zeus and Scott being again two of our close friends.
with me in front of you.
Yes. Well, you're like 2 years ahead of us.
In date, the month.
Oh. Well, no, but I'm saying Zeus and Scott and I are literally 13 days apart
Okay.
because they were both born the same year
I can't
was.
get in on this party?
No.
Just because I'm about a month ahead of you?
And 2 years,
The years don't matter.
but you are missing the point.
I know you all three are the same age and only like
Yes.
3 weeks apart.
2. We are
2 weeks
12
apart.
days. 4.
Anyway, so Zeus has been
Yeah.
playing D&D. So he's part of our role playing group.
He was part of our role playing.
So and he's big on
Yeah.
D&D. He's big on role playing. He was the one that played at ran Champions.
Yes, he ran champions with us, or for us, I should
And
say.
he's been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering because I know he's always loved
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah,
so
I don't
it's
think he's
something
ever
played
quit
for a long
playing
time.
that.
Jeff Hammer, another friend of ours, who you can see on the 24.
Yeah, he's been at both of our 24s.
He's been there. He has been playing Dice City, which is a game I really like.
I like that one. Yeah, it's very simple, but it's very
Clever.
yeah.
Oh, I was going to put links on there so we can pull it up.
That's
I'm
all
not
right.
sure about Clever. I'm not sure what Clever is.
No, I'm not
I don't
familiar
know
with
if
that
I've
one.
seen this one before. I'm quickly turning up to Board Game Geek here real quick so I can kind of get an
Okay.
idea of what it is. Clever is an educational card game, if it's the one he's posting about.
Okay.
It allows players to explore numerous connections to be made between cards representing objects and images with colors, categories, and letters and numbers. Okay. Interesting. It's 2 to 9 players. 15 minutes a game. It has a 1 complexity, so it's a pretty easy game, sounds like. Wormspan, he's been playing Wormspan. I really like Wormspan. I even commented on his post that I liked Wormspan better than Wingspan. He goes, I think he said he liked Wingspan better. And I know you like Wingspan better.
I do like Wingspan better, yes.
I like Wormspan because you're not losing actions as the game goes on. You're gaining actions. And for my engine building, I have to have more actions.
Whatever.
You can't win at an engine building game if you're losing parts of your engine. Then he's also been playing Seven Wonders. That was just recently inducted into the Board Game Geek Hall of Fame. Tournament at Camelot. I don't know this one either.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Let's kind of get an idea what Tournament at Camelot is. It's from 2017, so it's recently. Oh, I think I've seen this one before. You play as a legendary character who is battling opponents with weapon cards, arrows, swords, deception, sorcery, and even alchemy. So it sounds kind of like it's a 3 to 6 player game. Probably one reason why we don't have it. It says it plays best at 4. It's a 2.37 complexity rating.
Okay.
So, and then he's played New York Zoo, which you like.
I do like New York Zoo.
And then he's also been playing Botanicus, which I think is new. I think that's a new.
I don't know. When I first saw that, I thought it was something else. And okay.
Yeah, this is a new 2024 game.
Okay.
You compete for the best action spots in the unique selection mechanism, and then make the most of your options available to you. So it looks like you're a gardener. You're building a garden. It looks like.
Botanicus, I can see that with the name.
You have bought land, hired a gardener, and set out to find the best plants there are. Okay. Okay, so today we are actually deep diving the game. I know it's been a while. Okay, so we're going to talk about Bear Mountain Camping Adventure. This is a Kickstarter Katie just recently got in, and we've played like 7 times now. And we've tried to record this twice now, but between snow and just rough days, we haven't been able to get to the table to record a playthrough of. But that is coming soon, hopefully.
So Bear Mountain is a recent Kickstarter delivery that was published by Sweater Bear Games. Plays 1 to 4 players in roughly it says an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I might beg to differ on that one. But anyway.
Depends on how fast you try and rush the game.
Right. Ages 10 and up. Was designed by Casey Mattis and artist by Vectizi.
I guess that's how you pronounce that.
I guess that's how you pronounce it. Anyway. The tagline on BGG says, explorers race to be the first to reach the coveted Bear Mountain campsite. So with this game, essentially everybody is starting in one section of the mountain range, the map, in one group of campsites. The board is split up into, I want to say it's 5 different types of campsites, and then Bear Mountain in the middle. And the idea is that you are moving from one section to another, from campsite to campsite within each section until you're ready to move on to the next section. In order to play, you are playing cards. You start the game out with 2 cards from each of your decks. And yes, I said each. This game is a dual deck builder. You have a blue deck and you have a green deck. They both do basically the same thing, but there is some definite strategy in how you build your decks. You have access to buy cards every round. Some of them have special powers on them that allow you to do certain things. Others, for the most part, give you resources. There's 8 different types of resources in the game, ranging from kayakers and hikers and bird-watching goggles, binoculars. I don't ask.
Ear goggles, but not bird-watching goggles.
Anyway, so 8 different types of resources, and then you also have a wild resource called a campfire. In addition to this, you have different types of resources you can purchase, like granola bars and bells. I'll come back to those. So you're playing cards, gathering your resources, spending those resources to buy more cards, to put into your deck, to eventually build up your stash of resources. Everybody starts with the same 8 cards, 4 cards in each deck, and they each give you 1 resource. So you're starting out with a very minimal amount of resources to start with. You start off with a trailer, and throughout the game, you are building up to better trailers. There's 4 different levels of trailer, from your beginning trailer up through the top one. Each one allows you to do something different. And there's actually, the game comes with a lot of them. And so you have your small, you have your beginning that comes printed on the board. You have your small, your medium, and your large.
Yep.
For instance, the small might let you hold 2 resources instead of 1. You can save 2 resources on your board instead of just 1. Now, mind you, you can have any number of resources. You can only save 1 per turn, though. So it takes a little while to build up for what you need if you can only save 1 per turn. The small camper will let you now save 2. You have a little more space. The medium one might let you save 3 now, or it might give you a completely different power depending on which medium stack you grabbed out of the box. And then the large one will let you save at most 4 per turn. In order to progress, well, back up. You get your supplies, you get your resources, you buy your cards, and then your turn is over. You have to move to a new campsite at that point, not to a new section of campground, but to a different campsite within your campground. When you move, each campsite tells you what you get to draw for the next turn. You could get a coin. Coins are important. That's how you upgrade your campers. Or you could get cards, or sometimes you get both. You may only get 1 of each card, 1 from each deck. You may get 2 blues and a green, or you might get lucky and get 3 greens. The campsite determines what your next turn is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Then next turn, you're playing those cards. You're doing the same thing. You're moving to a new campsite. Eventually, you will have built up enough resources that you can now move on to the next campground. The next campground may be one of the 6 sites, or how many ever sites are in there. I've not actually counted them. One of the sites maybe requires that you have a pair of binoculars, a hiker, and a kayaker. Well, now I have those 3 pieces. I can move into the next campground. And now I can start moving around in the sites in that campground. And then eventually I can go to the next one. And that one now requires 4 different resources. So I've got the resources I need. And eventually you're going to work your way all the way around the board until you can get into Bear Mountain. To get into Bear Mountain, you have to have a specific card in one of your decks. More importantly, when you enter Bear Mountain, it has to be in your hand. You have to have the off-roading card in your hand when you're ready to enter Bear Mountain, because it's rugged terrain, I guess. But you also need supplies, because there's no place to get supplies up there. So you have to have all 2 of every resource ready to go when you enter Bear Mountain. And the first person to do it wins the game. But there's bells that can ward off wildlife, and you can purchase those. There are, like I said, the campfires, which are wild tokens. There are granola bars that you can purchase and use a granola bar in order to wipe one of the field of cards to buy, either the blue or the green, and replace them. So that you have, maybe they've gotten stagnant and nobody's buying something. Great. Spend a granola bar, wipe out that row, and start over. Or there are backpacks. Backpacks, if you spend a backpack, you can draw an extra card. Maybe you're looking for that one resource. You just need something different. You can pull a new card. So there's all sorts of different ways to maneuver. There are a lot of there's some mini expansions, like there's a tent mini expansion that basically do the exact same thing as the campers. So it's not a huge issue. There's also the pets. The pets act as permanent bells. The kitty cats can scare away the bears or the mountain lions. And they come back, so you don't have to keep replacing them. Okay, anyway, that's how you play the game. I guess now we'll talk about it before I give my opinions.
Right?
Okay.
Components.
We're
going to go with components first. Is this the deluxe version that you got, or is this just base game period?
I don't know, to tell you the truth.
Because
there was only one version on Kickstarter. There was no...
So everybody gets what's in this game.
I think so.
When it hits retail, if it hits retail.
So. I hope it does.
But yeah, the components, they come in...
Game trays.
Those are game trays.
They're game trays.
They have 2 game trays that look like tents, and then the big game tray is a pull-behind RV, kind of like a fifth-wheel RV, if you know what that is.
All the components are wood.
They're all wood.
There's no cardboard in this.
They're all wood and screen painted too.
Wait a minute, or was there cardboard in this?
No, I think it's all wood because you even got the upgraded metal coins, and they came with little wooden coins.
Yeah.
I don't remember if there was cardboard in this or not, but all of our components are wood.
Because I have the sheet of pets that's cardboard. That's what makes me question it. I think there was cardboard components, and then I've got the upgrade pack of the wooden components.
Okay, so our version is all wood.
Yes.
And you even got the upgraded metal coins.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but yeah, everything was screen painted on the wood. So, if you have the upgraded version, you're gonna hear what we're talking about because that's the version we got, though. But yeah, I think the components are good. I mean, they are small.
Are serviceable.
The components are kind of small.
I think they're fine. They're average size for wood components. I've certainly seen smaller.
Yeah, in Hamlet.
Yeah, yeah.
Hamlet's is very small.
No, I think the components are fine. They're decent size. I mean, the kayakers are like the size of my thumb. They're not small. Okay, maybe not your thumb. My thumb.
That's the size of my thumb.
My thumb. Anyway, the kayaker, I mean,
I don't know.
I think the components are decent size.
To you, they seem normal size. To me, they feel small.
I like the fact they give us 2 different trays for components. So you can split them on opposite ends of the table, and nobody's having to reach over anybody to dig into the tray that you get into the most.
Right.
Every turn, you're digging in that tray. So it's nice that you can put one on each end of the table, and nobody's reaching for anything.
Right.
I love that.
The cards, I think, could have been a little... I don't know. I mean, it's your standard cards, I guess.
Yeah, and I think once we record this, we'll probably end up sleeving them.
Yeah,
just because we've already played
on
this.
Yes.
Right. We've already played this 5 or 6 times.
6 times.
And the cards are not damaged.
No.
At all. They're holding up just fine. But I'm afraid with a lot more plays they might be, and I don't want them to be.
Yeah.
So after we've recorded it, I will probably sleeve them.
Yeah.
Just because
and the fact that we have played it 6 times now, I still think there's cards in the decks that we have not seen yet because the decks are tall enough that even in a 4-player game, we did not go through
half the deck.
Yeah,
no.
So it's. I mean, none of us really. I think we did it once in the last game that somebody paid the resources to have the deck one side of it
to pay
redone
to get rid of a set
all
of cards,
the old cards and then bring up.
Well, with 4 players, they were getting refreshed fairly often anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until we all decided, okay, I need to stop buying cards because my deck's getting too thick,
right.
that they just sat there stagnant.
Yeah. Okay, so components we agree on.
I agree. They're good.
Pretty good. Artwork.
I like them. Yep. Artwork, I love it. I think it's very endearing. I mean, it's not complex art. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not.
No, it's not very detailed and sharp.
No,
and everything.
But I think it's for what it is. I think it's good. I like the style. And I'm trying to. And I'm going off memory here. Maybe I should actually look at a picture. But
well, next to it's not Ian O'Toole or D'Amico or
but I think it is still very
artwork,
pretty.
But yes,
I do. There are yes, there are. They were cardboard originally because I'm looking. I just have flipping pages in PGG, looking at the artwork, and there's a picture of the component sheet. So it does come with cardboard shits. We have the upgraded wood pieces, yes, which is what I thought.
Yeah, the artwork to me it's fine for what it does.
Yeah, I like it. It. It's like watercolory.
Yeah,
it looks like watercolors. So
it's like the pastel color base until you play the other side of the board that we have. Because we have the Falls expansion with it too, which is the entire other side of the board.
It's a bonus game is what they call it, which you flip the board over and it's now Legend of the Falls.
Yes.
So instead of racing for Bear Mountain, you are racing to visit 3 of the 5 waterfalls on the board. So,
rule book.
Okay. Here's my one problem with this game. And I realize this is a brand new company. This is their first production. The rule book reads almost like somebody's standing in front of you trying to teach the game. It's not. It reads like they're trying to tell you a story. instead of here's the rules.
Yeah.
It's
said the first time you said it was like it's whoever wrote the rule book writes novels or something like that.
It does. It feels like a storybook,
Yes.
not a rule book. And that would be my one complaint, is the way that the rule book is written. And I wish I had it in front of me to give you some examples. Oh my gosh. But anyway, it literally reads like, so for instance, and it's not even so for instance, because I've seen that before. It's like, so pretend like, and it's, I don't know. It was very wordy. Wordy is probably the best word I can give it. There were just way too much fluff in there for me to get to the point of what I wanted to find when I wanted to find it.
Yes.
That's my only complaint.
Your only complaint is the rule book.
Yes.
Okay. Complexity. This, the base game is not too complex. The complexity comes when you start playing with some of the other expansions, like the weather one, the severe weather one.
Yeah.
Where certain things could happen each round. And
the base game on BGG has a complexity rating of 2. Weight of 2.
And I can see that.
I think that's fair. I think you're right. You start adding in the extreme weather or the rugged terrain, and you get a little more complex. There's a few more things happening. Really, the biggest differences with those is going to be the extra. Oh my gosh, what are they called? The campsites that have like the bears and all that.
Oh yeah.
Now you have more hazards out there.
Yes.
Instead of, in the base game, the only real hazard is the bears.
Right.
And about half of the tiles are bears versus getting an extra card or getting extra campfires tokens or getting extra money or whatever.
Right.
Whereas you start adding in some of the expansions, and now you've got mountain lions and poison ivy and sprained ankles and flat tires and rattle. You've got a lot more.
Yeah.
There are no more good stuff you're adding in. You're mixing in all these tiles, and now you're diluting the good stuff with more bad stuff.
Yes.
So that's where some of the complexity comes in, because you have to be prepared.
Yeah,
for
and
those.
in the base game, if you're playing with the pets expansion, which we just left in it because it's only like 8 cards.
Yeah, that's all it is.
The pets run off the bears. They'll run off the wildlife.
They will run off the wildlife, including the snakes.
But they don't help with the poison ivy or the flat tires or the sprained ankles and stuff.
Right.
Like,
so, and
a dog can help you with a sprained ankle. I mean, come on.
Basically, you lose a turn, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I got to the point I just avoided those campsites. Like, I don't need those cards that bad.
Yeah, because there is one of the trailers, if I'm not mistaken, when you upgrade it.
Yeah, you can avoid those.
You can avoid those. And with the trailers, it's like you're starting off in a tent. If you look on the board, on your player board is a tent. And then when you get your first trailer or camper, it's like one of those pull-behind campers.
Yes.
One of the smaller
pop-ups.
Yeah. Well, not even a pop-up, too. I mean, it's got the dome and everything. I mean, those could pop up, too, though. And then the medium-sized trailers are like fifth wheels, the one that has the gooseneck that comes into the middle of the truck and they pull down like a semi-trailer almost. Yeah. And then the final one is more of an RV.
Yes.
So,
that's what I want.
And like you said, as they go up, they get
better.
More and more things. Yeah. You can hold more things or save more things or have special powers, or you can
like the big RV will let you also pull 2 extra cards of your choice, and then discard 2 cards before you start your turn, which is really nice, especially if you're looking for that off-roading card.
Right.
So
like we were talking earlier, the gameplay we played at Saltier's with the two
with
people.
4-player, with
the 4-player
Rob
we played.
and
It was the first time we'd ever played with 4 players.
Yes.
And I was kind of like allowing them to enjoy this game, and I was giving them my strategy points, and they were taking them, and I'm like going, well, that's not good. Now there's no way I can win this game. But that was the game. I was like going, I'm going to play this game.
You threw the game.
And I didn't throw the game.
You did too.
Because I was always at least one color camping area behind everybody, and never got the camper token.
I got caught up, but I think Bo ended up winning this one, if I remember correctly.
I can look real quick because
anyway, I know both of them were. Rob and I were neck and neck.
Yes, Bo won.
Bo won. Because he got that card in his hand faster than I could.
Yeah,
or,
this
no,
is
no,
the
he
game.
had the resources. Rob and I couldn't get the last of our resources tied down.
Yeah. And that's the complexity of the game, is trying to get those resources when you need them. Because to go into Bear Mountain, you have to have 2 of every resource.
Yes.
Plus your off-roading card in your hand, not in your deck. You have to have it in your hand when you're ready to go in.
And there's the strategy of the 2 different decks.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I said, my strategy on this, I always at least have 1 off-road card in each one of the decks, so I know it's not in just one.
And the only problem is that off-roading card does nothing for you during the game.
Yes, it clogs up your deck until you get it.
Bear
Yeah, because every turn you have to play all your cards.
Yes. You can't
Because why wouldn't you?
Right.
But you play all your cards, and then, like I said, when you move to the next campsite, it tells you how many cards you're going to get.
So my strategy was always work on building one deck with everything I need. And the other deck I keep fairly small. I keep it at no more than 8 cards. So, and that's the deck with my off-roading card in it. So, and that works typically. And like last game, I got a card that let me shed cards. There's a couple cards that will let you shed.
Yeah.
And there's a spot on the board that will let you do it too, but it's way back in the very first campsite.
You got to go all the way back into the base
which
camps.
Is hard to get. It's time consuming. It's not hard. It's time consuming to work your way backward and forward again.
Because you can only go one color back at a time.
Right. So, yeah. I was lucky and was able to keep my deck down, so I was pulling that off-roading card like every other turn.
Yeah. And I think that's what Rob was trying to do too, is to keep one deck low, and he knew that's where his card was at though, but the campsites were running out that he could just go and get the green cards, which I think are actually it's like day and night cards or whatever.
I don't know. I haven't looked at them that close.
But he knew his off-road card was in the night cards, and his daytime cards were large, but he could not keep from going someplace where he was going to take a night card because he knew that next card was his off-road, and he needed it because needed to not play it.
Because he needed it to.
Because he was only a few resources away to being able to go to the camp.
Yep.
But
he was like 1 resource away. He would have won on the next turn if Bo had not won when he did.
Yeah. So there is a lot of different strategies you can do with this game, which I think is really cool. And like you said, the complexity is what'd you say? It was a 2?
2 on BGG.
That's the base game without any of the expansions. Like I said, when you add the expansions in, it adds a little more complexity.
Maybe a 2.5, but
like I said,
it's
the
not
weather,
much more.
The extreme weather one, I think, was the roughest one.
The extreme weather added a lot more to it. We've only played each of the expansions once.
Right.
And the weather added a different board that you had to track certain days if the weather it affected what was happening that day, basically. Right. Yeah. But I don't remember the specifics of it because, like I said, we've only played the extreme weather once.
Yeah. I was looking it up to see what it says. So with this expansion, weather will affect how the game is played through weather events. All of the possible weather events are shown across the weather board. The game is played in rounds. The first round starts before the first player takes their turn and ends when the gameplay gets back around to the first player. The purpose of the weather event tracker matching the color of the first player mover is so that all the players know. Okay. That doesn't tell us anything yet. At the beginning of each round, players decide who will roll the weather die. That's right. It actually brings a die into the game where we're rolling die.
Okay.
For that round, it doesn't matter who it doesn't matter who rules the dice each round. I think that was supposed to be who rolls the dice each round.
Yep.
To see which weather event will take effect. So, so there was like severe weather. Was snow one of the things? I can't remember. I know there was like downpours and thunderstorms and high winds and stuff.
I don't remember.
So I was trying to look to see exactly what ones were on there. There is a sunny day, beautiful sunset, clear night, which was good. And there's things underneath it, like a sunny day. All players draw an extra card. Or clear nights, cost to advance is -2 resources. Or there's the calm breeze, landslides. Players cannot move to a different color group. Tornado, all players pass their hand to the player to their left.
We never had that.
We never had a tornado.
Oh my gosh, that could be awful.
Flash flood. All players select 3 activity tokens and discards them. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
There's still more, but yeah, you can see how it would change the game. Like Thunderstorm, players cannot purchase camping activities.
Oh, so you can't buy cards that round.
Right. You can't buy a card. Players cannot use campfire tokens when the wildfire one comes up.
Okay, that makes total sense. I mean, yeah.
But it adds the buffalo, the rattlesnake, and the poison ivy to it. But that's the extreme weather part of it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the one I think makes the game a little harder. And you can see why. I mean, because the dice, you don't know what's going to happen that day. You could be set up for a big day, and then something like that happens. Like, oh, no. What would be worse with the one that you can't buy any activities is if the whole activity board got wiped and new cards came out.
Oh, that'd be awful.
That would just completely ruin the rest of your time.
Well, at least the next couple turns, especially if you had something planned. But it could be good.
Yep. So gameplay, we've kind of been talking about the gameplay through the whole thing so far, though. But the gameplay, I think, I went into this game, the first game we played, kind of like going, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
I wasn't really impressed with it on the Kickstarter. I knew you really thought it was really cool, and I thought camping is something we really did when we were younger.
It was.
It'd be great if we could still do it, but
it would.
But I was going to go into this thing, okay, I'm going to keep an open mind, play this game, and by halfway through it, I was like, this is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed every play we've played.
I have really enjoyed it. Like I said, I backed it because this project struck me as the whole purpose of Kickstarter.
Yes.
It was a small company. It was their first release. They had done their homework. It looked like a great project. Mm-hmm. It was the Kickstarter page looked fantastic. They had even gone to the trouble of making a playthrough video outside in a park, no less.
Right.
So it was 4 young people, at least I don't know how many of them had anything to do with the design, but the 4 young people and I say young because they're probably younger than my kids, or about the age of our kids.
They're probably their age.
But it just, the Kickstarter page impressed me. Mm-hmm. The way the Kickstarter was run, yes, it was delayed delivering, but they were 100% open and upfront about it. This is what's happening. This is our new timeline. Sorry for the delays. This is the problems we've had. They were 100% up to date and upfront with every single step, and I loved that.
Yeah, and I don't remember if it was a stretch goal or if it was just because they made a lot made their goal pretty easily. That they were going to hire an artist to redo the board.
That was a stretch goal.
That was a stretch goal?
Yeah, that was a stretch goal. Is they wanted to hire an artist to redo the board.
Very, very basic artwork on that board, and everybody was like, the board needs something.
Yeah, that was a stretch goal, was to hire an artist to redo the board, and another stretch goal was to put artwork on the inside of the box, which is a beautiful watercolor type artwork. It's gorgeous. Yeah, that was the whole reason I backed it, is because I was just impressed with. And again, this is something that I think Kickstarter should be. This is what it was designed to be. And I wanted to support that.
Yep.
And it wasn't horribly expensive. It was $69. Mm-hmm. In the grand scheme of what you see on Kickstarter nowadays, that's a drop in the bucket.
Right. Yeah. And for the game we got, it was great. That game is heavy.
Oh my gosh, is it heavy.
And it's a big, thick box. Yeah. So we're down to rating it.
Okay.
What would you give it as a rating of a 1 to 5? 1 being don't bother, 5 being recommended by it.
I absolutely love this game. However, I do know it is a niche that not everybody will love. Mm-hmm. I would say this would be a 4. Don't go out and buy it immediately. Play it first. Make sure make sure this is a niche you would love before you spend the money on it.
Yeah.
Because I think it'd be a shame for it to sit on a shelf. It's too pretty for that. But I think it is a good game. I love the dual deck building. The resource management, because you have to manage your resources. You have to have 2 of everything when you get to the final goal. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that final goal is a long way away. You have to use them. But in order to move from campsite to campsite, again, you have to have them. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of resource management. I like it. I'm going to say a 4. So, but definitely if you have the opportunity to play it first, play it. We're going to be doing a playthrough soon, so check that out.
Yep.
I'm hoping to do a 3-player. if we can ever make everything align perfectly.
Yep. Well, we're supposed to be doing that in a week or so.
Yes.
So
No, 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks.
Yeah, it got postponed 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been postponed twice, so hopefully we get it too. But
Well,
yeah,
you
I
know.
pretty much agree with everything you just said about it. I mean, this is, like I said, it was a surprise to me. I was
Yes.
not expecting to really enjoy it as much as I
Yeah.
did, and I really did. But we do have that background of camping.
We do.
We have all the Boy Scout stuff we used to do, and we used to go. I mean, one of the first things we did as a couple when we first started dating
Was camp.
and we went camping.
Yeah, we did.
So we've done a lot of camping in our back. Unfortunately, now with your back, we can't go
With my
camping.
back, that is completely out unless we buy unless we buy an RV.
Well, if we buy an RV, we're saying, hey, guys, you want to put your names on this mortgage and let us stay here when we're not on the road?
Exactly.
Because we'd be traveling the country.
We would.
Okay, so, but yeah, I think, in my personal opinion, I would love to give this a 5.
Agreed. In personal opinion, I love this game.
But as you said, it's a niche thing.
Yeah.
If you're not a big camper, you wouldn't even look at this game.
Agreed.
But then again, when you tell them that it's a deck building resource management game, it might pull them back in. So, but yeah, so I would go with a 4-2. So what we're saying is we recommend the game, but
Because of the niche, play it first.
yeah. But if, like I said, if you love resource management games and deck building games
And camping.
and
you love
camping,
the
this is the
theme.
game to get. Yes.
I think the theme is very strong in this.
Yes.
So,
We would highly recommend this. Maybe this is one we take to the Dice Tower retreat,
that's a great idea.
because I
you
don't know
it won't be in
if I don't know if Tom has backed this one to
I
put
don't
it in there or
think so.
not. We'll have to keep a look. If it's in the Dice Tower,
then no problem. But,
yeah. If it's in the Dice Tower thing,
not-
then we won't bring it. But if it's not, we'll bring it.
If not, we're
Because
bringing
I think there's a few people that we play games with that would probably like it. I don't know if Jeff would like this or not.
I don't know if Jeff would like this one either. I don't know. I don't know. Might be too long for him. Too basic to be as long as it is.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he'll
'Cause
say, "Oh, this is just a
It
basic
can be
game."
a long game.
Yes, it can. Well, it's only as long as you make it.
Exactly.
Really.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can fast rush.
Because you can
fast rush
rush it.
I
Fast
don't know.
rush it. That's the new saying. Fast rush a game.
Okay, I don't know what I was trying to say. Anyway.
Speed rush the ending.
Yes, there you go. That works.
Okay, so rush the ending now is fast rush a game. So remember that. It's a new board game term. Fast rush a game. Heard here from Katie, who coined the phrase. Anyway, so I think that's going to do it.
I think now's a good ending. Yes, that's
yeah.
good. We're good.
So that's going to do it for episode 80. We are 20 away from our 100.
I'm
But that won't
Yeah.
be till like middle of this year, close to the end of the year. 52 weeks out of the year. We do it every two weeks.
probably
So
be closer to the end of the year.
so yeah, yeah.
Yeah. 40 weeks away.
Yep. Anyway, if you like this episode or any of our content and haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do so by going to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And while you're there, give us a rating and comment. This is how others find the show. But in the meantime, if you want to follow us on social media just to keep up with us and see what we are doing, just follow the links in the show notes. There you will find links to Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, Discord, Blue Sky, and our merch shop. Or we got a lot of social media. Or you can contact us directly at meeplesociety@mail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.